All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to an update video. Haven't done one of these in a while, but we've got a lot of work done. We're going to get into the Riviera. We're going to get into the C10. Check engine lights on. We all know what that means. Shit's going down in the shop. If you notice, we got something new hanging in the shop. If you guys follow us anywhere else, if you listen to our podcast or anything like that, it's all about the build. You know that I'm proud graduate of Wyotek, and they've actually, we've gotten communication with them, and they are proudly partnered with us now. Anything that I can do to help them out, we're going to hopefully bring quite a bit of content to you guys about Wyotek. If you're not familiar with it, it's an automotive college, university, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And I graduated from the Blairsville in Pennsylvania years ago with a 4.0. Thank you very much. And but yeah, if you get on our website, you know that we're partnered with Jags, and we're partnered with Wicked Car Mag. And now we're proudly partnered with Wyotek, and I'm extremely proud to be a part of them. I believe in them a lot. I went to school with a lot of people that didn't follow the passion and continue on. And I am a very small number of people that continued with this process, and look at what the hell we've created. Obviously, I couldn't have done it without my wife. And, you know, I love her for that. But hard work, dedication, Wyotek, baby. So without further ado, this one goes out to you guys. Like I said, haven't done one of these in a while, but here's to you guys. Pinkies out as always. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, they wanted to know where the side-by-side got to. If you follow us on Facebook and shit, I told you that I was going to give you an update on that. Well, we got the Jeep, and we traded the Jeep for the side-by-side, and we have sold the side-by-side. So we're moving right along with what we wanted to do on that end of the stick, and just stay tuned on where the hell we're headed with that. But we're moving in the right direction on where we want to be and be able to use some of the money that we use. As you know, we gave the Jeep to a guy and his wife, and that was her dream car, and that's what we tried to do. You know, I wasn't going to trade it. I was going to try to sell it, but when it came down to it, it was totally worth it, because we ended up getting the side-by-side, and then we sold the side-by-side probably for a lot less than we should have. But I'm not here to rip people off. So that's why we fucking did it the way we did it. So, but he's happy, he got a good deal. You know, we're moving in the right direction with where we're headed. So just see what the hell happens next. But anyways, for further ado, let's get into the Riviera here. We've been doing a lot of underneath work, which I'll show you as soon as I roll this son of a bitch over. But one of the main focus points as to why we even put the rotisserie up and got it the way that we have it on here is these front body mounts here. As you can see, I got them both mocked up here, and the original version, it actually had a big, massive, just ugly ass piece of metal that came in right here. And we did all this time and effort into all this stuff. I did not want to have this out in the open, because I mean, it's just going to look like shit. So we still are going to have this. We're going to end up smoothing this stuff out and everything to get it looking good. But this actually sat in here, and then it had a whole structural support that came down. Well, that was completely gone when we got it. If you go back the weeks prior and the months prior, you can see that. But let me roll this over and I'll show you exactly what I had to do. Unfortunately, you know, I didn't have anything to go off of. So this is where we're at right now. As you can see, that bracket actually came down and tied into this whole structure that we had to rebuild up in here. So instead of using it off of that bracket I showed you that's just going to be hanging out in a no man's land, as you can see, this one actually, this is how that would be. I've moved it from this piece to this outer structure right in here. And now that I've done that, I'm actually going to roll this back down around and show you how I'm countering the that support. There we go. So inside here, we've actually moved that solid structure to the inside. So this is a pretty heavy gauge piece of steel that we have. And we have this that we're going to end up welding into place and welding into all this support. And that's basically, I've just inverted it. I've instead of being on the outside of the firewall, I put it on the inside of the firewall. And all the support and everything's still going to be there. It's just going to be visually, this is going to be the best way to go about it. We still had to keep the mounts. I wasn't going to go ahead and build new mounts because we had the originals and all that shit. Could I have made something that looked better? Probably, but just not going to happen. I mean, maybe I'll take this whole opening out and I'll slick it off or not, but you're never going to see it. So we're just going to go from this. But as you can see, I got this one completely done and we're moving on. I got to get the second one over there squared away, but this is just to get an idea of where I wanted it to go and make sure the structure was there and everything. I just had to I just had to use my head a little bit. And I'll roll this one more time because I haven't rolled it enough today. But I'll show you what we've been tying in here. I've been doing a lot of work underneath, just a lot of tedious shit that nobody really cares about, but it needs to be done. You know, everything, I've slicked everything off up in here as far as welds and shit like that. Well, I started replacing stuff. I had to patch a couple of pieces and stuff. I ended up adjusting these back support brackets, and I've tacked everything in right here and welded them in. So I closed up all these gaps and shit. So it's just a bunch of tedious stuff that takes time, but you know, it's all going to be seam sealed and slicked off and purdy after it's all said and done. So it's just time consuming shit. But you know, the biggest ooh and ah would be this bracket system that I've made. You can see that it comes over. The original bracket system came over and came up and tied into this structure, which is what we're doing again. But you know, I didn't have that. I didn't know what the hell to go off of because it was completely rotted. So now that's where we're at right now. So I'm going to end up tying in and coming up and doing the same thing here. And I'm trying to keep structure with this. So I've made a couple of cuts so that my it's not going to interfere with any of the integrity of the beads that we put in and everything. So just a bunch of shit, you know. So that's what's going on with the Riviera. If you remember last time we were doing work on the C10, we were putting this on. I was cutting everything out, and we had to put this on. Everything was rusted out. You can go back and see the other videos of everything of us taking the roof off, or the skin, whatever you want to call it. And these just don't go on very easy. You would think they would be because it's a repop, but after we put this on and we ended up decided that we were going to get rid of the drip rail. So now everything's slicked off. If you were watching earlier, but if you know these C10s, we got a drip rail that goes the whole way from here, the whole way around and down the doors. You can see where we're at as far as everything goes. Now, I didn't finish this corner of each because I needed to figure out what we were doing with this body line right here. If you look at this body line right here, now it sticks way out. And if I'll get right past you and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. we have this piece that jaunts out and comes back in. This is why I didn't weld any of this shit up, is because of this son of a bitch right here. It runs here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off. We're going to smooth everything out so it smooths out, and it's going to come in contact basically just like everything else is, and smooth it all out. Now, if you look at this up here, I had to slit this so that we could actually move the whole entire roof skin in so I could get this line to fit right. And in order to get this line to fit right, if you notice back here, I got a weld seam that's right beside another weld seam. That's because I had to slit it the whole way from up here down to here to actually create a wedge that I could move everything so that this whole thing would fit on the roof properly so that I could get this to look appropriate the whole fucking way across. And the good thing about it is there's a seam on the stock C10s that runs this whole entire roof line right there. So there'd be a seam seal that runs the whole way now. Now what we've done, we're going to slick all this weld off, and it's going to be one smooth piece, which is going to be great. You know, the funny thing is these doors are the exact same doors, ordered at the exact same time from the exact same company. And if you look right here, this is a 1/4 inch right here, just this little spot. And we walk around to the other side real quick. We're going to take a measurement and show you that it's not a fucking 1/4 inch, that it's a pain in the ass, just like, you know, just like the fenders are, just like everything else. Now, that, like I said, this is the exact same door with the exact same people, ordered at the exact same time. If you notice right here, that's not a fucking 1/4 inch. This body line actually kind of falls apart down into here, which is fine. You know, usually this body line disappears because the drip rail's right here. Now the drip rail's not going to be here. You got this body line right here. So, you know, I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave this, just draw out the way it is, just like this. I'm going to have to do it to that side because that's more pronounced. But another issue is, if you look right here, this wasn't even fucking tacked properly. So now I'm going to have to come in here and I'm going to have to fix this. If you measure the distance between this and this right here, we're actually a 1/4 inch wider in here than we are on the other side. And these are just the doors. You know, it's like I said with the roof skin, in order to get the roof skin to sit on there, yeah, you can just fucking put a new one on there, but it just doesn't work like that. I don't know if I've shown this or not, but we're flush mounting everything as far as the glass goes. So this is a flush mount glass, or people call it an oversized glass, whatever. This is going to not have a rubber seal. This is going to be just like a modern vehicle, where there's no big ass ungodly rubber seal. So you can see how nice this is going to fit in here if I got it squared away and centered in there. But you can see how nice that's going to fit. So the next question, I might need to be moved, but the next question is, am I going to do something with this body line? I don't know. The owner's actually coming from Hawaii in a few weeks, and we're trying to get as far as we can on this. That way he can make some big decisions and we can figure some stuff out. But you can see how nice this is going to fit in here. It's going to be sweet, in my opinion. And one of the crazy things is, you know, this has an overlap that I had to cut out and treat because it was rusted in here. You know, there's just, well, now that that's in there, it's not going to fit. But you can see how much of an overlap there is. And there was a hellacious gap in here. So I'm going to have to put that in there and re-weld that and clean and finish all that off. Same with the other side. It's just extremely time consuming. And you can see as far as the welds go, I mean, it's a tack, 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 tack. And then you got to make sure you're not warping the top. And, you know, we've already done quite a bit of work to get the door to fit in here properly as far as the gaps go and everything. But now we're going to have to adjust accordingly because we've taken the drip rail out. And where the drip rail was, you know, we were looking at could be close to 1/8 of an inch of metal that we've taken away. Now we're going to have to refill it and bring in this line better. You can see right here, we actually have a drop, you know, where it would be at. This falls back, you know, and you can see this line just isn't as clean as it used to be when we had a drip rail in there, because you had that big fucking gaudy, what do you want to call it, a gutter, basically. So we've literally welded everything in here. Same thing with the back. I mean, it's just hours and hours and hours of labor, but we were in it, so we had to finish it. So that's where we're at on that. Yeah, like I said, that just to get everything squared away and all that was pretty wild. I'm happy with the way it's going to look. I mean, when you come up on this thing, if you're not going to be familiar with a C10, you know, is anybody going to know that I took the drip rail off? Maybe, maybe not. Is it going to be worth it? Fuck yeah. Because the people that know about it are going to know that that drip rail was taken off, and they're going to know the sheer amount of time and effort it took to do all that. But, you know, as long as it's all smoothed out and purty, that's what really matters. We don't want anybody to know that we touched anything, even though we've cut everything to fuck up and welded it all back together. So, yeah, that's the update video for this week. Sorry we haven't had one in a while, but we've had a lot of shit going on. We had family come in, and we spent a week with them, and you know, just a lot of shit going on. So now we're back. Stay tuned for hopefully we got another update for you this week coming up. We're gonna get this shit all squared away. I gotta go get some more metal to finish off these pieces and everything. And like I said, we're wrapping up the bottom underneath here, especially after we get that shit squared away. We're coming down the home stretch as far as all this shit goes, because I mean, that little tedious shit that I finished up back in the back was time consuming, but it needed to be done, and it's not fucking glorious, but it's done. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, here's looking to you guys. Did I forget anything? I think we're good. Pinky's out. Love you guys. Stay tuned.